Hi, this is Rachelle with Center Pull Chelle, and I am back to do an update, somewhat of a vlog. I know I've been missing for a little while. I'm going to try and get better with that. Um, but when we last met, I was working on the Dollar Tree sweater, which is a sweater that I'm using Dollar Tree yarn or yarn that I purchased at Dollar Tree. I'm using the Red Heart yarn. I think it's the Comfort. It's the $5 giant ball, about a pound, I think, of yarn. And I picked up 3 of them. And I think I only ended up using 1.5. So I still have quite a bit left. Not sure what I'm going to make with that. But I did finish the sweater. I finished everything except weaving in my ends, which I will do. This is what it looks like. It's really nice. One thing about this particular Red Heart yarn, it doesn't feel like the typical rough acrylic. And I had to check the ball band several times to make sure that this was acrylic yarn because it's very soft and it feels like a cotton, maybe a cotton acrylic blend. I don't know. It feels very cottony to me. But this is the whole sweater. You can't really see all the pieces, but this is what it looks like. So it's finished. I have several projects that I've worked on since I've been missing, gone, whatever you want to call it. Most recent are these 2 cat beanies. Now I opted not to do the stripe. I think I will come back and do another one in stripe. This one is mine. I made this one for me. This was the first one. And I wanted to make it in the round somewhat so that I did not have to do any stitching on the side and the top. So I basically did this as one piece. I kind of did it like you do a bag. First of all, this is a 5-weight yarn. This is Puzzle from Premier. I picked it up at Walmart a while ago. I always intended to make a hat with it, not necessarily a cat beanie, but a hat. I don't remember the colorway, but I'll put it on the screen. So I didn't want to have to do any stitching at the end. I felt like there was a way to make this all in one piece, and I was able to do that by doing my chain and then stitching around both sides of the chain. And I think I went back and forth, back and forth. Um, it's a little different. I started out a little different and then I switched up how I was doing it. So it has ridges here, which I like the ridges. It's really hard to tell. To me, it is. So I just left it. I didn't frog it because I had frogged so many times starting this. Um, yeah, I didn't want to go back and frog it once I figured out what I needed to do. And I used the same technique to do the ribbing here that I learned on this sweater. So as I go and I learn new things, I'm incorporating them into other projects. So the same way I did the ribbing here, I did the ribbing here. So it turns out to be all one piece. And I have been working on another hat for my daughter, but she wanted a cat ear beanie instead. So I made her one. But this one was a little trickier for me. I think the bulkier yarn, the 5-weight yarn worked better, but it turned out nice. And this is what it looks like on me. It's okay. This was another kind of trial and error beanie because I had to frog it umpteen times. Probably could have made 3 or 4 beanies with the time it took me to get this one just right. And I think I probably could have sized it down too. But I think it'll be fine because of different hairstyles and stuff like that. It will still work. This one I think is the better of the 2 though, because I like the weight of the yarn a lot better. The 5-weight, it seems nicer to me. Okay, before I made her cat ear beanie, I thought she wanted just a regular beanie or hat, winter hat. So this is one that I made, and I made an effort to not have it be extremely bulky here, but I missed one step of a tutorial that I was kind of loosely following, so I still ended up with a little bulk, but I just love the colors of this yarn. I think this could be a favorite yarn colorway of mine. Red Heart really did a nice job with this colorway. I think it's really pretty. I love the oranges, and my daughter likes brown, but I like the oranginess of it, and just the change in color. It's just really nice. I like it. So I have this hat. I may put it in a shop somewhere for sale. I still haven't decided what shop I want to use to sell my crochet pieces, but I think this one will go in the shop. Then I talked about Wicked, doing some Wicked things. So this is the hat that I finally came up with. Now this was before I learned about um, reducing the bulk at the top of the hat. So it's a little bulky up here, but this is what it looks like. So you got the half green, half pink. I think it's really cute. It came out nice. I had fun making these hats. I enjoy doing the ribbed look. You'll probably see a lot of that coming from me for a while because it's just fun to make it. In addition, I wish I could have found the chenille yarn in the same colorways, but this was as close as I could get. So I did make a scrunchie in the pink and green. Now I was basing my chenille yarn choices on what they had at the Dollar Tree or what I already had in my stash. If I come across something closer to this, maybe in a Michaels or maybe on Premier Yarn's website, I'll see what I can do. But for now, this is what I have as far as Wicked is concerned. Hopefully I was in frame for some of that. So that's all the hats, the scrunchie, the sweater. Then I started working on making myself a scarf. This is I'm using the yarn that I mentioned in a previous video, and I'm doing a ribbed scarf. This is what it's looking like. And I'm just doing random stripes of the yarn that I shared previously to make this. I'm not sure how wide it's going to be. I'm thinking I may add maybe this much more. I don't know. I want it to be, I don't really like skinny scarves. So I kind of want it to be nice and chunky, even though I'm not using a chunky yarn to make it. I just want it to be, something that I can fold over, wrap, wrap, wrap. I think I did 200. Let's see. I think each one of these is 25. Yeah. So I did 200 chains, and I'm using this Clover J hook 6mm is what I'm using. I've pretty much been using this for everything lately. So I also discovered the hype around the Clover hooks. I get it now. I started this scarf with just one of my random Amazon hooks in the same size, and it kept getting hung. It kept hanging. It wasn't gliding. And I had never noticed that before. And so I switched to this, and it just was breezing through, breezing through. So I was like, okay, I get it. And then I held them up next to each other. You probably can't tell. Let's see. This is another Clover. There's something about the head of the hook that is just slightly different. Let me see. I think this is closer to the same size. It's just slightly different. So I guess I'm going to have to invest in some more Clover hooks. I need a 5.5, definitely. I don't know, but I will be investing in more of these. I get it, especially after trying the 2 hooks that I tried in the previous video, where the handle was down too far with this. I don't know what it's called, but this part was like way down here, and I have smaller hands. At least I think I do, and I need the grip part to be up closer like these. Even this grip is better than the grip on those 2 that I tried previously. So at first with the Clovers, I thought they were too short, especially compared to these that I got from Amazon. But after the experience of the hook getting caught in the yarn so much, I understand the Clover. Definitely. It's an investment, but it's a good investment. It'll save time in the long run. At least I think so. Okay. Enough hemming and hawing about the hooks, but I just wanted to point that out. I was just flabbergasted when I first figured it out. Okay. When I noticed the difference. Before I was like, oh, people are just being extra. There's no difference. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, yes, there is a difference. But this is where I am on my scarf. And I hope that's everything. I've been trying to keep everything together to share it since I wasn't blogging it. Next up, things that I want to make, even though Christmas is pretty much almost here. I still want to make Christmas stockings for the family. That may be an ongoing project. I also want to add pockets to my boxy cardi that I made from Juan the Yarn Addict. I also need to order some. I want real wooden buttons on it. So, but I did notice a few times that I've worn it that I miss having pockets. So I'm going to add pockets, and I want to make some more scrunchies. I still haven't made the tube style scrunchies, so I want to play around with making that. And I don't remember if I showed, I don't think I did. I didn't share the poncho that I made for my son. So I'm going to insert some of the images of that here. I think that is everything. I did print out these patterns. This one didn't have a picture. Something I found on Pinterest. And then this one, they're both red heart, using red heart yarn. I don't know what yarn I'll use, but this one had the fur or the cuffed top. So I think I prefer this one, but I like the shape of this one better. All right, so I got those to work on. I also think I want to make some leg warmers because when I'm sitting at my desk, I'm in a colder room and my feet and legs are cold. So I'm thinking of making myself some leg warmers. But I'm going to finish the scarf and I'll show you that once it's done and whatever else I decide to get into once this is done or while this is in progress. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about all of my makes. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.